My child. Stay with me now. Breathe slowly. Feel the air enter your chest. Feel it leave without effort. This moment today was not random. This hour was chosen with precision. You were guided here because something important already shifted before you even had the chance to worry. Earlier today. At this exact point in time. Something moved quietly toward your life. It did not announce itself. It did not arrive with noise or chaos. It moved softly. Almost unnoticed. And before it could reach your son. Before it could take form. Before it could become real. It was stopped. You felt the echo of that moment inside your body before your mind could explain it. A pause. A sudden stillness. A pressure that appeared and then gently lifted. That was not fear. That was protection arriving early. My beloved child. Nothing rushed into your world. Nothing collided with your path. Nothing unfolded the way it was assumed it would. What was forming lost its direction. What was approaching slowed and then turned away. What was intended never sealed. There were words spoken somewhere that did not complete themselves. Conversations that lost their authority mid-thought. Plans that relied on timing they did not control. And today. Timing answered differently. Timing answered for you. Feel your shoulders now. Notice how they soften. Feel your jaw loosen. Feel your breath become steady again. That calm is not denial. That calm is confirmation. The body recognizes safety before the mind finds words. My child. A boundary surrounds your son. Unseen. Written long ago. Guarded quietly. Without display. Today something tested that boundary. And today it held. Nothing crossed. Nothing lingered. Nothing followed him. Not physically. Not energetically. Not even for a moment. What could have unsettled you never entered your life. It dissolved before contact. That is why you were drawn here now. After the shift. After the reversal. After the outcome changed. Stay with me. Let the stillness deepen. You may feel warmth in your hands. Or a gentle ease behind your eyes. Or a slow release in your chest. These are signs of alignment returning to its natural place. When danger dissolves before arrival. Peace settles without effort. My beloved child. You do not need details. You do not need explanations. You do not need to replay possibilities. Because what matters has already passed. And what remains is safety. There were hidden conversations you were never meant to hear. Unseen assumptions that never gained permission. Plans spoken softly that lost their strength the moment light touched them. You sensed something earlier because your spirit is attentive. Because your heart is protective. Because you are connected. But sensing does not mean suffering. And today. Sensing was enough. Intervention arrived before reaction was required. My child. Notice how time feels slower now. How the rush inside you has eased. How your thoughts no longer spiral. This is not distraction. This is completion. The moment that could have carried weight was neutralized. The path that could have bent was corrected. The message that could have disturbed you was stopped before it fully formed. That is why calm replaces concern so quickly. That is why certainty settles without proof. You may wonder why this happened today. Why this hour feels different? It is because timing aligned perfectly. Protection does not arrive late. It arrives precisely when needed. And today, in this exact moment, it arrived first. Nothing remains unresolved. Nothing waits in the background. Nothing is approaching you or your son now. The line has been drawn. The outcome rewritten. The door closed gently but firmly. My beloved child. Feel your breath again. Slow. Natural. Steady. Feel the warmth continue to spread. This is how safety anchors itself. Quietly. Completely. You are not being warned. You are being reassured. You are not being prepared for loss. You are being reminded of protection already in place. Remain here a little longer. Let the peace settle deeper. Let certainty become familiar. This moment marks a turning point you did not have to fight for. Protection moved ahead of you. Alignment answered instantly. And calm now stands where uncertainty tried to form. My child. This chapter is closed. This hour is complete. What was meant to disturb has dissolved. What was meant to worry you has lost its path. You and your son remain guarded. Sealed. Held. And nothing from today follows you forward. My child. Stay with me a little longer. Do not rush away from this stillness. The calm you feel now is not temporary. It is settling because something has fully completed its work. Earlier today, in this very hour, a direction was corrected before it could become a destination. A moment that could have carried weight was lightened before it touched you. And that is why your body feels quieter now. That is why your thoughts are slower. That is why your heart is no longer bracing for impact. You did nothing wrong. You missed nothing. You failed at nothing. This was never about your action. It was about timing and protection moving first. My beloved child. You sense the shift because you are connected. Because you love deeply. Because your awareness is awake even when your mind rests. That awareness did not bring harm. It summoned intervention. There were layers to what was unfolding. Not danger. Not loss. But misalignment. A path that did not belong to your son trying to brush against his timeline. And timelines are guarded more closely than you realize. Today, that brush never became contact. The path was redirected. The energy was neutralized. The outcome rewritten without noise. Feel how grounded you are now. How your feet feel heavier. How your breathing feels anchored. This is the body's response to safety returning fully. When something unseen steps back into order, the body relaxes without needing explanation. My child. This is not relief after fear. This is peace after certainty. There were assumptions made by others. Quiet thoughts. Private expectations. They believed events would unfold in a certain way. They believed timing would obey their intentions. But timing does not answer to pressure. It answers to alignment. And today alignment spoke clearly. Softly. Firmly. You are not meant to investigate this. You are not meant to question what could have been. Curiosity would only reopen what has already closed. Trust the feeling instead. Trust the calm that grows the longer you remain here. That calm is your confirmation. My beloved child. Nothing remains in motion around your sun. No unfinished energy. No delayed consequences. No lingering direction. Everything that needed to stop has stopped. Everything that needed to turn has turned. The moment has passed cleanly. Notice how your thoughts no longer jump ahead. How your mind is not racing. How your heart is steady. This is what completion feels like. No loose ends. No echoes. No residue. Just stillness returning to its rightful place. Today marks a quiet turning point. One that required no struggle. No confrontation. No sacrifice. Protection arrived early. That is why there is nothing dramatic to process. Nothing heavy to release. Nothing to recover from. It ended before it began. My child. There is nothing you need to say to anyone. Nothing you need to explain. Nothing you need to prepare for. Your role now is simply to remain present. To allow peace to finish settling. To let certainty anchor deeply. You may feel a gentle warmth spreading slowly. Or a subtle sensation of being held. Or a sense that something invisible has stepped slightly closer. These are not signs of danger. These are signs of guardianship reaffirmed. The longer you stay with this moment, the safer you feel. That is not coincidence. Safety recognizes itself. And today safety has taken its place fully. My beloved child. You and your son move forward untouched by what almost intersected your path. Not because of luck. But because timing intervened with precision. This chapter ends here. Cleanly. Quietly. Completely. Remain here for a few more breaths. Let the calm seal itself. Let peace become familiar again. Nothing from today follows you forward. Nothing remains unresolved. Protection has already finished its work. And you are safe to rest now. My child. Stay with me. Do not leave this space yet. The stillness you feel now is deepening because the unseen has finished arranging what needed to be arranged. Nothing is pending. Nothing is approaching. Nothing is circling anymore. Earlier today. In this very stretch of time. Something that did not belong tried to align itself near your son's path. It was subtle. Almost invisible. It carried no drama. No obvious warning. That is why your spirit noticed it before your mind ever could. And that is why you felt that quiet tension earlier. The kind that arrives without explanation. And then leaves just as quietly. That was the moment intervention stepped in. My beloved child. Protection does not always arrive with signs that frighten you. Often it comes as interruption. As delay. As confusion for those who assume things would go their way. Today. A sequence was broken. A chain was loosened. An expectation dissolved before it could harden into reality. You were not meant to see the mechanics of it. Only the result. And the result is calm. You may feel as if time itself slowed for you earlier. As if the world paused for a breath. That pause was not emptiness. It was adjustment. It was alignment returning to its rightful position. Your body felt it because your body listens to truth faster than thought. That is why the pressure eased. That is why your breathing softened. That is why you are here now. After everything settled. My child. There were people who spoke without knowing they were being overheard by the unseen. There were intentions formed without awareness of the boundaries already written. There were outcomes imagined that were never approved. Today, those imagined outcomes lost their authority. They simply could not proceed. Timing withdrew its support. And without timing, nothing moves forward. Feel your chest now. How it rises without effort. How it falls without resistance. This is not relief after danger. This is safety that was never broken. The path around your son remained intact. Nothing crossed into it. Nothing followed behind him. Nothing left a mark. That is why there is no heaviness remaining. Nothing to heal. Nothing to undo. My beloved child. You may notice your thoughts becoming quieter the longer you stay here. Less noise. Less urgency. Less need to check or confirm. This is the mind responding to closure. When something ends cleanly, the mind rests naturally. There is no echo. No unfinished question. Just calm. Earlier today, there was a point where things could have gone differently. That point passed without consequence. Without memory. Without residue. It closed before you ever had to make a decision. That is how protection works when it moves first. You were spared the burden of response. The unseen carried it for you. My child. You are not meant to search for proof. Proof belongs to the mind. Peace belongs to the soul. And peace is what you are feeling now. It settles deeper with every breath. With every second you remain present. This is how you know the matter is finished. There is no reason to replay scenarios. No need to imagine alternate paths. Those paths no longer exist. They were folded back into stillness. What remains is the original course. The one that was always meant to continue uninterrupted. Your son walks it freely. Guarded. Unaware. Safe. My beloved child. The warmth you feel is not imagination. It is reassurance moving through the body. When protection completes its work, it leaves behind a signature. A gentle sense of being held. Of being watched over. Of being steady again. Let that sensation remain. Do not rush it away. Today. In this hour. Something was stopped before it could become a story. Before it could become a memory. Before it could become something you would have to carry. That is why there is nothing dramatic to process. Nothing heavy to release. Nothing to forgive. It never crossed the line into your life. Notice how your jaw stays relaxed. How your shoulders no longer brace. How your breath flows naturally. These are signals of safety restored fully. Not temporarily. Fully. Nothing remains in motion. My child. There is no message coming that you need to prepare for. No conversation waiting to surprise you. No revelation approaching suddenly. What could have arrived was redirected. What could have unfolded was neutralized. The outcome is already written differently now. You are allowed to rest in this knowing. You are allowed to trust the calm. You are allowed to let the moment close without analysis. This is not avoidance. This is wisdom. Knowing when something is complete. My beloved child. Stay a little longer. Let the stillness finish settling. Let the sense of protection anchor deeply. This feeling is not fragile. It is stable. It is grounded. It will remain with you even after you move forward. Nothing from today follows you into tomorrow. Nothing lingers in the background. Nothing waits quietly. The door has closed. The line has been sealed. The matter has ended. Breathe once more. Slowly. Fully. And know this with certainty. You and your son are safe. Guarded. Held. And this chapter is complete. My child. Stay here with me for these final moments. Let nothing pull you away yet. What you are feeling now is the closing seal. The gentle certainty that arrives only when everything that needed to be handled has been handled completely. Earlier today, in this exact stretch of time, a door closed quietly behind you. Not with force. Not with sound. But with finality. And that is why there is no echo. No lingering vibration. No unfinished sensation in your body. You were brought to this point not to be warned. Not to be tested. But to be reassured after the fact. Protection moved first. Adjustment followed immediately. And peace was restored without delay. My beloved child. This is why nothing dramatic happened in your outer world. Because the real work happened before it ever needed to appear there. You may sense now that the tension you carried earlier has fully dissolved. Not pushed away. Not ignored. But gone. As if it never belonged to you in the first place. That is because it didn't. It was never yours to carry. It passed near you. And then it passed away. My child. There are moments when paths almost intersect. When timelines brush close enough to be felt. And then separate again without consequence. Today was one of those moments. Your awareness noticed the closeness. Your heart responded instinctively. And then alignment intervened. The separation was clean. Precise. Permanent. Nothing was taken from you. Nothing was threatened. Nothing was exchanged. The path remained intact. The boundary held firm. And what did not belong was redirected gently but decisively. This is why there is no sense of loss now. Only calm. Only grounding. Only completion. Feel how steady you are now. How your thoughts rest naturally instead of searching. How your body feels heavier in a good way. Anchored. Supported. This is not exhaustion. This is safety settling into place. My beloved child. You may never know exactly what was prevented. And you do not need to. Knowing would not add peace. It would only add unnecessary weight. What matters is this. The outcome changed before it became an outcome. The story ended before it became a story. Today did not add a burden to your life. It removed one quietly before you ever had to notice it fully. That is why the relief feels subtle. Almost gentle. Almost ordinary. Protection often feels like nothing happening. And today, nothing happening was everything. My child. There is no follow-up. No second wave. No delayed effect waiting around the corner. What ended has ended completely. The unseen does not leave loose threads. When it closes a chapter, it closes it fully. You may notice that your heart feels lighter now than it did this morning. That your patience feels intact. That your intuition feels calm instead of alert. These are signs that there is nothing left to guard against. Nothing left to watch for. The watch has ended. My beloved child. From this moment forward, the path ahead returns to its natural flow. Uninterrupted. Uncomplicated. The rhythm resumes. And you are not behind. You are exactly where you are meant to be. This was not a near miss that leaves fear behind. This was a correction that leaves no residue. That is why you are not shaken. That is why you are not replaying images in your mind. There is nothing to replay. Nothing to recover from. Take one more slow breath now. Let it fill you fully. Let it leave gently. Feel how your body accepts this finality without resistance. This is how closure feels when it arrives on time. My child. You are not being watched with concern. You are being held with steadiness. The atmosphere around you is calm because calm is appropriate now. The work is done. There is nothing you need to say to anyone. Nothing you need to adjust. Nothing you need to prepare for. Life continues forward smoothly from here. Quietly. Safely. My beloved child. Let this be enough. Let this certainty stand without question. Today ends not with worry. Not with tension. But with completion. Remain still for one last moment. Allow the peace to seal itself fully. And when you move forward, move knowing this. You and your son remain guarded. Untouched. Secure. And this chapter is closed.